welcome to Neighborly Natalie. This week's In Your Town, I am hanging out in marvelous Metairie over at Atonement Lutheran Church and School, where I had the opportunity to hang out with the amazing third grade students of Mr. Thompson. We had such a blast. We sang, we danced, we spoke about all things weather, particularly severe weather safety, showed them some things about the radar, and I even got to give them a little special gift as a thank you for letting me hang out with them. Love them so much. I think we have future little meteorologists in the works. And as always, if you'd like me to visit your little munchkins at school, or if you're a teacher and you'd like me to come hang out with them, or you're an administrator, please feel free to go shooting me an email at nparsons@wgno.com. I will never, ever, ever say no, because I love the munchkins and they are the future. Don't go anywhere. We have more Neighborly Natalie on the way, specifically making furry friends with the Louisiana SPCA. Welcome back to Neighborly Natalie. We are hanging out at the Louisiana SPCA making furry friends, and we have a new face this time around. We have Kevin Duggan here. So tell us about yourself and your role here.
Sure, yeah, I'm the trainer. I'm the manager of behavior training and enrichment. I help the shelter dogs, but also we teach public classes. So I do group classes, private training, just helping the public with their dogs.
Very cool. And I think we have to go addressing the elephant in the room first, because this puppers is ready for some big lovin'.
Liberty.
Come here.
Yes, this is Liberty. Liberty is probably 3 or 4, Husky Shepherd mix.
Okay.
He's a pretty big boy. He's maybe 70 pounds, I guess. Super social with people, dogs. Just a great dog all around.
Absolute gentle giant. I mean, the first time I met him, he was ready to give me a nice big hug, put his little paws up on me, and like, you can just tell, it's just in the sweetest way ever.
Oh, thank you. Little kisses there.
So you've worked with Liberty for a bit now, and where do you think he would go thriving?
I think he could do well in a home that gives him a little bit of an outlet for his exercise. You give him a little exercise, a bit of an outlet.
He's a big dude.
Big dude. I think another dog in the home probably would be a good fit for him.
Okay.
He's super social with other dogs, and I think that would go a long way for sure.
Those big dogs definitely need the space, so I don't know if a one bedroom apartment would be perfect for this puppers. Or what do you think about that? House versus apartment?
You know, if you were to run marathons, no, but if you were to get your dog out and do a lot of things with them, then living in an apartment or like a smaller space is fine.
Okay.
But if you are not going to do much with them in terms of getting them out to help meet their needs, you might want to have a little bit more space at home, maybe a fenced-in yard, something along those lines.
Liberty, come here. Let's see your face, because you're so good looking. I mean, look at the face, look at the ears. He's so friendly. He loves the treats too. I gave him some before too.
Yes.
Only a few years old, so a youngin'.
Yeah, he's been here for maybe about a month now.
Whoa.
And I fell in love the moment I saw him. He's just strikingly handsome and, again, just so sweet with everybody he's met.
You know, you were saying that there's certain types of dogs that end up being here a little bit longer than, say, the puppies who get snatched up pretty quickly. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that size plays a role in it. Not everybody's looking for a larger dog. Some are looking for smaller dogs. Maybe the hair part, too. I mean, some dogs have more hair than others, and so they might shed a little bit more. But, you know, in general, I think we can give them all a really good chance, and if we brush them, if we can't change their size, but we can make it work regardless.
How determined you are.
Yeah, how determined you are.
You know, it's kind of one of those scenarios, we were talking about this a little bit off camera in terms of commitment. Every single adoption is a forever commitment, and we always come across scenarios where, you know, things happen, you know, people are moving or whatnot. It is a forever commitment, and if you're really determined to make this forever baby yours forever, it can be doable. You know, they're just like you. Life sometimes has things that happened, but as long as you want it to be forever, and I'm sure they want it to be forever, you can. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. Well, and we have resources too. We've got funds to help people that can't afford training. We've got that as well.
Oh, talk about that.
Yeah, we've got behavior scholarships. So if you want to come and do a group class or need some one-on-one help, we can help with that, and that can be either at no cost or at low cost. And then depending on the area as well, we have something for medical needs as well.
Okay.
So there's some options there if anybody needs help.
And talking a little bit more about training, because I feel like sometimes dogs will come into your home and they'll have like certain etiquettes or things that are very trainable.
Yeah.
You want to talk about certain things that you see, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that training can help with. Dogs like to get in the garbage can, jump on counters. So management means preventing access, but training means let's teach them to do what we'd rather them do. I'm a huge fan of teaching a dog to lie down and stay. Or I like to do it for random rewards. So it would be like, hey, come here, sit, stay, down, stay. And they are willing participants because good things are happening for them. So we're not torturing them and just making their lives miserable. But if they're doing what we want, they get good things. They're happy about it. We're happy about it. So training, I recommend starting off right away when you bring a dog in. Like, hey, or a cat. Like, hey, let's just go ahead and make sure we've got some rules in place. We manage to prevent things from going wrong. And then we also are focusing on rewarding what we want them to do. So if we see it, we reward it. We ask for it, and then we reward it. We'll get more of it.
Well, I'm going to pick your brain about something, Mr. Trainer, because I have a big mouth min pin, and they're pretty yappy, wouldn't you say? Or even if they're dachshund mixes.
Yeah, they've got a lot to say.
So for somebody who has a puppers like mine, what is a little tidbit of advice that you'd give to maybe get the dog controllable and not run its mouth all the time?
Well, sure. There's different types of barking. I associate, min pins or dachshunds. A lot of them will do like watchdog barking, where they hear something out the window or see something, and then they
Security dog.
They start barking. So I like to teach leave it, as in, hey, let's leave it. Let's stop barking at that. And then we can reward them for leaving it. That's one thing. If dogs are barking because they're nervous of something, like nervous of a stranger, we can actually give them good stuff. So like, hey, there's a stranger. I know you're nervous. Let's give you some good stuff. This will help you build a positive association, which will decrease the barking.
How do you differentiate between like the stranger barking and the other one that you mentioned? Because they're kind of similar.
It's similar, and especially like watchdog barking. So if they're looking out the window, a lot of the watchdog barking can lack emotion. It's just like alerting to things that are changing in the environment. Whereas the stranger danger barking is, I clearly see a person right there, and I'm usually it's like a faster paced barking, and they're just kind of barking.
Yeah.
So it's really a clear trigger that's happening with stranger danger stuff, and then watchdog is just the sight or sound of anything.
What you're talking about, I definitely identify with my girl, because if I take her for walks, and as soon as she sees a person, she'll just run her mouth.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I think that it's very clear to me that these training courses can help a variety of different little fur babies, possibly even my own. So the wheels are spinning over here. You want to talk about the array of courses that you offer? And also there's a bunch of classes coming up too.
A lot of classes coming up. Got Puppy Manners, which is for like 20 weeks and under. So as long as they're up to date for their age with their vaccinations, they can join. It's a 6-week-long course. We're covering everything in there, from sitting, downing, coming when called, staying, leaving it. I mean, we cover it all. A lot of socialization takes place in there as well. So the goal is to set them up to be behaviorally sound dogs into adulthood. And then with the basic manners, that's for anybody over 20 months old. You can start at 3, 4, 5 years old. Same sort of skills are taught in there. A lot of impulse control, a lot of like, hey, let's do this instead so you're not getting into trouble. So really teaching them what we want them to do. We also have a specialty class called Reactive Dogs or Reactive Rover, and that's for dogs that specifically, they bark at other dogs or people when they're out on walks. So that's kind of a specialty class, which is designed to help with that specifically.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And then the dates, are they all offered in unison, or why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so you start 1 week and you go for the consecutive 5 or 6 weeks. So puppies are, we've got one starting this Saturday at 10 a.m. So if you joined, it would be 6 straight Saturdays at 10 a.m. So that's what you'd be looking at.
That's so cool. And then just talk about how training is so important, because I feel like you look at a dog, it's kind of the equivalent to a child. And I feel like I should be sorry for even saying that, but they are kind of the same, even though they're not. Because like you have to go training your kids how to go behaving, and so you have to go training your little puppers how to behave as well. So training is crucial.
Training is crucial, and that's why I've started a program here at the shelter for the adoptable dogs where they can earn their bronze, silver, or gold training certificate. And that means that they've got a foundation for training. So it's so important to start off even here. We want to make sure these dogs and their adopters are set up to succeed. So they have that, and then when you adopt a dog, you're just really making your life so much less stressful when you have worked on the training that you actually need. So the training isn't like, hey, let's make sure they can do everything every moment. It's really, we just want them to do what we need them to do to make life easier. So instead of jumping on the counters, let's lie down and stay for random rewards. Instead of pulling, let's walk with a loose leash. So just specifically what we need to work on is what we work on.
Do you also see a bit of a bonding experience with their human during a training session, and that helps over time?
Oh yeah, I think it's so much fun, the bonding experience. That's a great way to word it. I remember when I first got into training with my own dog, I just had so much fun, and I just felt like our relationship was so much more improved when we started that process. So I think it's a good way because you learn how to communicate with your dog, you learn kind of just the nuances of, okay, my dog is starting to bark, what do I do? It's just a great way to kind of learn it all and really help with that relationship.
And you probably learn also like different cues that a pet can go giving, because like same with, and once again, I'm sorry for the analogy, but like with kids, if they cry, they have different cries. Barks are kind of the same too.
Oh yeah, yeah. A spooky bark is normally like a woo, 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 woo. A fast-paced bark. A demand bark, where they're just trying to get something out of you, is just like a woof, woof, and they're staring at you. So there's a lot that you can learn from training classes, whether it be group or private. We just break it all down and make sure that you have a good understanding.
Maybe we could show off one training move for you folks to give you an idea, a little glimpse of something in terms of training.
So why don't we do eye contact?
Okay.
So we can actually start off with a piece of food and start it right at your dog's nose and bring it up to your face. And then once they follow it, they get rewarded. So food at their nose, food up to your face, and reward. And what's cool is that after you do this a few times, they will start following your fingertips. So now with no food in my hand, I can point, good boy, and then I can reward him for that. And so then he starts following a hand signal as opposed to just a food lure. So Liberty, I point, good boy, and reward for doing it.
Wow.
So that's eye contact. And I teach that because if he's making eye contact with me, then he's not staring off at the cats over there or another dog. It's basically saying, do this instead.
Well, in terms of eye contact, because once again, my daughter, I love her to death, but she is a problem, spoiled only child. So I've heard that when it comes to walking a pet, they should be looking at you and following you on the walk. Is that true or false?
True and false. So I teach a loose leash walk, which means just don't pull, do what you want, be a dog. Just the leash must remain loose. And then I also help teach a heel, which means, hey, be at my side, look up at me. And it's really depends on the situation when you would want to use it. So most of my walking is just do what you want, just don't pull me.
Okay.
But then if we're going past like a table or something where people are eating, then I will ask for the heel and say, let's be next to me.
Okay, because there's things that the dog could get sidetracked on, and okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear that maybe I should look into these courses for my furry baby, and I think that anybody who has a pet, these are definitely a huge, big, pro that you should go taking advantage of. What's the price range on it? I know that we mentioned the scholarship stuff.
Yeah, so price range, it's about $150 for the course. So if it's a 6-week puppy course, it's $150 total for the 6. For the basics, it's $150 for 5 weeks. So it's about $150.
That's not bad, because you said 6 weeks, so divide 150 by 6, that is under $20.
Yeah, sounds right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That is super affordable, and like the benefits will last a lifetime. So I don't even think you can put a monetary amount on there.
No, and I provide support in between classes, so I send out homework, and then I'm available to answer questions, help troubleshoot in between those.
Very cool. Is there anything, where can people go to find further information about these courses?
So go to the website, laspca.org, and then there's a resources tab, and as you highlight over that, you'll see dog training, and it has all the pricing, all the places to sign up. Right.
Any other information that you want to go giving us?
Just do it. It's a lot of fun. You'll have a much better relationship with your dog and less stress.
Very cool, very cool. Always a fun time hanging out at the Louisiana SPCA. Once again, this was Big Liberty rather. Hold on, Liberty, come here. Come here. Come here so we can see your face. This is Liberty looking for a forever home.
Yeah.
Big loving, lots of snuggles, lots of treats. Please consider this Puppers and the Louisiana SPCA for all your adoption forever home needs. And don't go anywhere because we have more Neighborly Natalie on the way, specifically with Whattttt NOLA. Welcome back to Neighborly Natalie. I am Natalie Parsons, your host, and this is Whattttt NOLA. It is the interactive portion of the show where you, the viewer, directs the conversation, and basically you are the ones who determine if it's going to be fun or not. So every single week I go posting something like this on my social media pages, specifically Facebook and Instagram, saying that it is time to have your voice be heard. Give me your comments, give me your questions, give me your sound offs. There's no topic off limits. The more scandalous, the better, because why not? It's all about fun here. And so I go setting a time where you have to go sending your submissions in by. Usually it is the Saturday coming up around 8 p.m. And then also in addition to commenting on these postings to give me your submissions, I also go doing Facebook Lives every Saturday at 7:30 to further get more questions from you, because without you, this segment is not possible. So get right into it. We have some really fun stuff to go talk about this week. First question is coming from Seth Johnson, who is asking, how was your trip and how is Miss Gigi doing? So we kind of skipped a week because of Easter travel, and so we are back in action. The travel was a lot of fun, maybe not so much for little G Monster, but overall give you some views from what things looked like above in the air. From takeoff here in NOLA, you could see that there were a few clouds here and there, nothing really too crazy, pretty nice. And then also over Lake Pontchartrain, you could see little bits of the causeway on those images too. I had a layover in Raleigh, North Carolina, so getting on over to there, I mean, in those parts, they were seeing some real majestic monster clouds, as I call it, and it was really, really cool to go flying by them, because I mean, things just look so different when you're in the air, and it's very surreal too. And then officially, I was going to Long Island, New York. There is an airport called MacArthur. You could definitely tell that New York is in winter mode because everything was just brown and like kind of sad looking. But then again, that's why I left the north, because down here, things are alive and popping, thank you. I had a lot of fun. I got to hang out with some family for Easter. It was nice to see my mom, my dad, my little sister, and all that, and it's just so nice to get that special time with them. So overall, it was a really, really, really nice trip. And then giving you some views of the trip coming back, you could kind of get a little bit more of an idea as to what Long Island looks like, where you actually fly out over the Atlantic Ocean. It was just absolutely beautiful, and so to me, that's kind of where my love for the beach and the ocean comes from, because the beaches up there are absolutely beautiful. Maybe not so much in the winter, but they're pretty nice. And then from there, we did the layover once again in Raleigh, and then coming in for a landing in NOLA. It was just nice to be home. Traveling is fun, seeing my family, but it's always good to be back here. And then in terms of my little fur baby, she's kind of been on the struggle bus the last few weeks, and part of me feels really bad about taking her on that trip, but I will say that I know that her being a foster fail, a little rescue dog initially, I know that no matter how she's feeling, she would much rather be with me than with any sort of boarder. So getting right to what she's kind of struggling with kind of started maybe about 3 weeks ago when I noticed that she just was kind of being a little weird about her food. And at first I thought, you know, we did a little travel at that point in time. We did a little spontaneous trip to Birmingham, Alabama. There was a concert with Phil Wickham, Jamie McDonald, Torrin Wells that I just really wanted to go to really bad. So G Monster and I, we took a little spontaneous trip. And sometimes when we come back from travel, she's kind of thrown off a little bit. So I thought maybe it was that. And then the week following, my work schedule was a little crazy. Wasn't really giving her the little love affection that she usually craves. She's a needy one. And I'm not sorry for it. I love her to death. And so I thought maybe that was throwing her off even more. And then the following week, she was really just being even further weird about her food. I tried changing it to Honest Kitchen, which is a fantastic food for dogs. It is one of the few human grade brands out there. And their kitchen is actually fully like human grade food and all that and stuff. And so I was super excited to get her to try that. But she wasn't really enticed by it. So I ended up changing her food again to a brand called Akana. She is a little bougie dog. She does not like meat or poultry. She can't eat chicken because she has an allergy to it. Beef, she just is not enticed by it. She needs the stinky things like seafood. And so Akana I thought was going to be the winner. She liked it for like a day. And then she just pulled the same antics and whatnot. And so I was like, okay, girl, one more food. I ended up trying the Whole Foods brand. I thought we had a winner with that one, and she just kept being difficult. So I was like, okay, we need some professional help here. So I took her to one vet. They drew some labs, and they said that she had some slightly elevated pancreas numbers, which would mean that she has slight pancreatitis. But then they also mentioned that in like the physical exam when they were feeling her, she kind of felt like she may have some enlarged upper organs. Didn't really go into detail, don't really know what that means. Last week, I still didn't see any improvement in her, so I took her to a different vet. Still looking like pancreatitis. So I don't know, we're kind of just taking it day by day, and I think that if she's not better by my work weekend, we're probably gonna go to the vet again, do some updated labs, and then also the place that I'd gone to last week mentioned that she may need to go to like an internal medicine type doctor to do some sort of sonograms to see what is further going on. But my little chunky monkey, I love her insanely, so I don't like seeing her. Like, if you are a pet owner, you get it, because when they don't feel well, they may not like verbalize it. They try to be as, you know, spunky as their usual self, but their eyes speak to you, and she's definitely doing that. Thoughts and prayers, please, for my little G-Monster so she can go feeling better soon. So that is the latest on my little G-Monster. And then moving on to this next one. This is kind of a fun one. My friend Judson, he goes, if you were a Muppet, what Muppet would you be and why? I would be Fozzie Bear or Gonzo, LOL. And then he goes on to say, since we're best friends, you and I can be Gonzo and Rizzo, and depending on the day, we can switch who is who. They're both getting into fun shenanigans, LOL. Yes, Judson and I, when I lived back in North Carolina, we had a lot of fun at this rodeo thing. He's one of those friends where like when you get together, you do shenanigans for sure. But I think that for me in particular, when it comes to if I had to be a Muppet, who would I be? I think a lot of people would usually go saying, she's a chick, she'd probably say Miss Piggy. Miss Piggy growing up used to irritate me because she's a bit of a diva, and I'm not, thank you very much. She was just kind of like nose up in the air and just kind of annoying. And then Kermit, I feel like, is the fan favorite because he's just so sweet and lovable and kind of like the peacemaker and just like the all-around good character. But I think that if I had to be a Muppet, I would choose the one that is described as the wild, chaotic monster Animal. I don't know, growing up, I just kind of thought Animal was super cool. He is the drumming character. He has very random outbursts. He's also very much like the unauthentically unapologetic and just super real character, and I feel like you don't really know what he's up to, which kind of keeps you like wondering, what is Animal gonna do next? And he's kind of like the underdog character because he's not like the fan favorite, but he still has that like standout role, and he's just super cool, and so I like Animal very much. I kind of feel like he's also the character where like you get what you see and you see what you get. Like, he's just very straightforward. There's no surprises with him, and his outbursts are just absolutely fantastic, and just him drumming away is the best. But I will say that if, we want to be all, gender specific, I was actually doing a little Google search, and I saw that Animal's mama, we're talking Laverne, made a few appearances, not very often, but pretty similar in characteristic to Animal. In the fact that she also played the drums, she had an outgoing personality, and she was just a interesting character. So I guess if I had to be a Muppet, I would be either Animal or Laverne. Overall, lots of questions, lots of fun, and I will definitely point out that Neighborly Natalie's Whattttt NOLA segment is going to be turning into a bi-weekly series. So we're going to have a little bit longer to go getting some questions out of you and getting some more interesting things to go talking about, because like I said before, this is a segment that is all about you. And I just like it to be fun, and I want you to have as much fun as I do in answering these questions. So thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Neighborly Natalie. I'm going to get working on the next episode as soon as this goes live, and we're going to be on for some more good times. So keep an eye out for your chance to go partaking in Whattttt NOLA. Remember, submissions are due Saturday at 8 p.m., and then I also do that Facebook Live at 7:30 on Saturdays. So hopefully we can interact in some shape or form. And as always, thank you so much for making this happen, and I'll check in with you next week.